Oh, we're just gonna do a real fast, pretty much junk video on doing the rear brakes on a 02 F150. I believe this should work for disc brakes on 97 to 04, some of them. So take your wheel off. This had 21mm bolts on it, or nuts, whatever. You're gonna take these two bolts here out. These are 10mm. Now, you'll notice the pads on the bottom slide on there, and on the top, it's just held in one spot. So we're going to pry the caliper away like so. I'm not sure if this is hot because it just got off the road. And you're just going to pop the outer pad off, just get a screwdriver in there and kind of pry it out of there. The inner pad you're going to leave there and put a clamp on it. And on the spot right there, right in there, and screw the caliper back in. And we don't want to let this thing hang on the hose, but that's not what I'm here about, so we're just going to set it off to the side right now. For parking brakes, which is why I'm here, all you're going to do from this point is the rotor should just pull straight off. Now I'm not going to try and do this one-handed with the camera because, like I said, I just pulled this thing into the garage, so there's nothing really complicated about changing the brakes on these. So I was just going to make kind of a quick summary. Like I said, you can put a clamp. I'll leave the pad in because that way you're going to run less chance damaging the piston, and it kind of evens out the force your clamp's applying. And just run that piston back in, and then pop the old pad out, put the new pads on, and just shove it back down on there. I'm going to see if I can get this rotor off without burning myself now. And I'll just give you a quick little look-see at what the parking brake assembly looks like while it's covered in grease for a bad seal. But that's how that should go together. And these are not self-adjusting, so you have to take the plug out in the back to get to them. And you want to make sure you clean this off before you put everything back together. Anyway, that's our quick video. Well, you know what? I'll show you putting it back together. Alright, and then putting it back on, I guess y'all can't see any of that. And putting it back on, once you've got your new pads in there, you get it started over the rotor, and you'll slot that in there. And then just, well, I missed. It popped up out of there. Get that so it stays hooked over. And you shouldn't have to push on them that much, but I wasn't changing those, so I didn't clamp it down. And we're just going to give this a little tippity tap to seat that down. Okay, I was thinking that was going in a lot harder than it should, so what had happened, it should just pretty much pop down in there, but the pin had slid forward after I'd taken it off, so you want to make sure those are pushed back far enough that they're actually going to clear. We need to get the grease off there before we finish rolling it. I got it at the clean spot where the pads are right now. So we'll spray the rest of the rotor off with brake clean before we actually get her going down the road. And I believe, you're going to want to check your torque spec, but I believe this is 110 pounds on these. And I'll check that before I actually torque my wheel back on. Anyway, this is the 10mm we took out before, and that should just about give you an idea anyway. Hope y'all have a good one.